have an age difference. We have life differences.
This is how you should live your life.
I got the faith, because to get the faith...
Got it. Well, let's jump into this.
This is the Old School, New School podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Old School, New School podcast. I am Will Charles Egan, and per usual,
Chris Meekins.
If you've noticed, there was an intro in this video.
Yes.
Sweet.
We spent $35.
We spent $35. We commissioned somebody to make us a little LED sign-looking thing, and then I kind of just edited up some of the audio clips and threw a song together.
The only thing we're gonna have to fix is that you look like a what were those really tall people in the Old Testament?
The Nephilim.
Yeah, you look like a Nephilim compared to me.
Yeah, apparently in the shot, if I sit up straight, I look.
Well, you're
enormous.
Like 6'3"?
There you go. Some people underguess it and then I kill them. Yes, no, I'm kidding.
6'3"?
I'm 6'3".
And then you have another quarter inch of
quarter
hair.
Inch of fluff on the top.
Fluff on the top.
Yeah. So I stand like a half a head above the rest most of the time.
Okay.
I am a lighthouse walking around with my hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm only like 5. I used to be 5'11" and a half, but now I'm,
That's respectable.
you know.
Things,
It's okay.
Things happen.
I'm in the middle.
Right. That's good.
I'm, whatever.
Right.
Not that there's nothing wrong with short people.
No, short people are the best.
They got nobody. Did you ever hear that song? Short people got.
I actually
No.
love that song. I know every lyric word
Why
for
would
word.
someone write a song like that?
That is some of Randy. So the guy that made "You've Got a Friend in Me" from Toy Story has this just unbelievable song called "Short People," and you listen to the lyrics. Just give it a listen. It's just like, what? Yeah. It's satire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most people really are 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah, it's just that's average height.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Especially anyway. So so we have a new emblem, and we've
Your price tags on
price
the lamps
tag on the lamp
are
is
off.
gone. So it's staying.
You've committed
Yeah.
to this lamp.
I have not committed.
Right, she committed.
Somebody committed.
She made the executive decision.
So I guess they're staying.
Hey, good for you guys. We made another important
Well,
decision.
it has been like a week without construction, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So
Thank God, it's finally over.
yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of podcasts,
Some interesting podcast stuff.
what number are we on? 39?
This is 39.
Yeah.
We're getting close to 50 almost.
So I was at my Legacy Bible study for people that are in business, like how to have a godly business.
Right.
And unfortunately,
What
I'm
happened?
breaking all the rules. Okay.
no.
I'm like, okay, maybe I should do that. But anyway, we're talking, and the one guy was talking about a podcast. And the other guy's like, yeah, I fought it. 2 weeks ago, we started it, and I did my third podcast, and it's just so empowering. And I'm sitting there.
This guy, what does he know? I've got 39 episodes.
I'm like, we're at 30. I have one. It's at 38. And the guy's like, what? You?
Yeah, right?
Well, I have you. See, if it wasn't for Will, this would not be happening.
Yeah.
But this will be our 39th episode.
Yeah.
And I was trying to tell him that it's actually more about doing what you love to do and empowering other people around you, just like, and putting it out into the universe. It doesn't matter really what's doing. If we believe that God is who he says he is.
Yeah, I think he is.
And we're being obedient.
Right.
There's a verse, it's like, it is better to obey than to sacrifice, and then heed is better than the fat of rams.
Yes.
And so God just calls us to be obedient. He doesn't cause us to say, and then look at the results. I mean, sooner or later you look at those things. But anyway, so I was telling them that, and I'm like, and they were like, 38. And I was like, yeah, we love, but we feel empowered. I feel empowered. That's even not the right word. I feel like I'm throwing something into the universe that may help somebody. I mean, there's like 7 billion people in the world.
8?
8?
There's 8 billion people.
Is it up to 8 now?
It's at 8 now. It's getting crazy.
Somebody might like what we have to say.
Somebody has to, right? If it's out on the internet for everybody to see, there's got to be somebody out there.
The World Wide Web.
Yeah, literally.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You tell somebody who was hosting a radio show like what 40 years ago.
Yeah.
About this, that two jamokes just bought some microphones.
I thought of the word jamokes,
right? And then they just kind of threw a laptop up with their phone camera. They carry a high definition camera in their pocket everywhere they go, and they can just record an internet radio show kind of, and just put it up for everybody to see at any moment. And it doesn't have to be syndicated at a certain time. Anybody can reach it at any moment. And so there's this unprecedented ability to reach people. And that's kind of what we wanted to do.
It's crazy. So
yeah. So I had
go ahead.
we had Cheyenne on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and one of his friends reached out and was like, "Thank you for giving Cheyenne a voice. You know, we always knew that Cheyenne was gonna make it out. Cheyenne was gonna be the one. We always knew he was going somewhere."
It is so difficult because you look across from him, he's like such a together kid, and you're like,
"Oh yeah,
you're coming out of what? I mean,
right,
isn't your life like amazing like mine?"
Right. You just assume it's like, oh, this kid's just it's like, no, he kind of paved his own path, and the Lord was definitely, the Lord had his hand over him for sure, because he has that amazing testimony you guys heard, and his friend was just like, I just wanted to thank you. You know, that was just so awesome that we got to impact even one person that was like, Cheyenne made it.
That's God says, go after the one.
Even if it is just one person, I feel like this would be worth it.
And there'd be a couple episodes that there was
only one person.
Your mom.
Yes. No, literally. She was the day one commenter. Hey, Mom, she's probably listening right now.
Well, she's a good woman. She's been coming to my wife's Bible study. I say this every week. So quantum physics.
I'm sorry, what?
Quantum physics.
Okay, sure, yeah.
You know what that is?
Uh-huh.
What is it?
Well, quantum physics is...
This was not rehearsed at all.
Yeah, this is... I have no idea where he's going with this. Quantum physics is this, new frontier of physics where particles can coexist. So the whole idea is one particle can be in two places at once.
You are really smart. I did not think you were as smart as you. When we first met,
right?
This
idiot. Yeah, you'd never know unless you really talk to me.
So out of nowhere,
right?
You know the answer about quantum physics.
You know what Schrodinger's cat is?
No.
There was this guy whose last name was Schrodinger, and he said that there's a cat in a box. We got radiation in the box, and the cat is both dead and alive. Both coexist at the exact same time. And you can only determine if the cat is dead or alive if you open the box and look in. And that's kind of a way to explain quantum physics. So why are you asking me about quantum physics?
Well, that went way over my head.
Somebody got it.
Somebody got it. Because what we're doing here, and so I was talking to my friend John. I always refer to him, and I think we mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but he was talking to me. We were talking about quantum physics. One of our pastors is like,
of course,
when you speak things into the universe, when you speak, it has an effect,
right?
So when you're speaking death about someone else, like you, that Will guy, he
Will sucks,
whatever. It's going into the universe, and when you're saying things, I'm stupid, I'm this, I'm that,
right?
You're speaking that into the universe,
yeah.
And so they talk about like reactions of particles on tables and stuff like that from quantum.
Yes.
Okay. So my friend John, we're talking about it. He goes, the best example. Sorry, John, if I botch this. But he was saying the cell phone. Mm-hmm. When you think of the cell phone,
yeah.
Or wait a minute, a podcast,
microphones,
okay,
laptop.
We are speaking into this thing,
right?
It's going into this wire,
right?
Into that little board over there, and then it's going into your computer over there, which then it goes into the World Wide Web, and then it goes into the universe. Mm-hmm. And then some person over in East Timbuktu,
right? Yeah,
is listening to it. Mm-hmm. Where John explained it is like a cell phone is a perfect example of it. I'm speaking into this phone, and I can speak to someone on the other side of the world that just has this little device in their hand, and they can listen to me and understand. So why would I not think? I mean, if we figure out, and we're as people, we're really not that smart. We don't understand all that.
Oh no.
Why would I think that my words have power to go. They're doing it.
Yeah.
So if you think that your words going out aren't turning into something,
right,
and being received someplace,
yeah,
the phone is a perfect example when you think of quantum.
That's a good point.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John, for contributing.
Call me.
Yeah,
we'll talk.
Yeah, correct me on that one. I was at
when next time he comes into town, he's on his podcast.
100%.
He's probably one of the smartest people I know.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I was at a cafe the other day. I was writing, and I was trying to figure out a word that I had asked my Alexa the definition of. I was reading it, and my Alexa was next to me. I was like, Alexa, what does this word mean? And I was trying to see if you could look at the record of things that you've asked Alexa in the app on your phone. I couldn't find it, but what I did see, this was really weird, is on the app, on the very far right screen, there's a little thing that says drop in. I was like, what is this? And so I tap on it, and it's waiting, and then it says connected. And then I hear music in the background in my headphones. I'm like, what is it? And I take off my headphones, and I'm assuming it's like the music in the cafe around me.
Right.
It turns out it was the music that my roommate was playing at our house that I was dropping in on and hearing. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I can spy on my roommate at any given moment. And then apparently you can like send noises. So I was sending fart noises to the Alexa remotely. And then I just text my roommate out of the blue. I go, hey, that's a stupid song you're listening to. And then I just text him the lyrics. He goes, are you able to see my Spotify listening history? I'm like, no, go into my room. And then he walks into my room. And then I'm connected to the Alexa remotely. And I just go, hey. And he goes, what the heck? And so through the power of technology, I was just able to connect remotely from, I could do it anywhere in the world. If I've got internet connection, I can connect to my Alexa speaker at home. I mean, if you were to tell somebody
Deep state.
This
is deep state stuff.
And after that conversation, we were both like, we are 1,000% being spied on at any given moment.
Yeah.
The government can hear me snoring at night.
All the people that are illegal, that are doing things illegal,
right?
It's not like they're worried about ethics.
Yeah.
You know, I know that I've been suffering from the sciatica thing.
Right.
Oh my gosh! And there's times when I'm just like, I'm fine, and then there's other times I'm like, like last night.
Yep.
It just so happens every time I open up my Facebook or my what's that, Instagram?
Yep.
There's an ad.
Yep.
For someone that wants to help me with.
Have you been looking up on your phone?
I do pause and look at it.
Yep. That's. I mean, they know your search
history.
It's the Google. We're being watched at any given moment. There's no avoiding it. But we can use this platform for good.
Right.
Which is kind of the whole idea of this. How exactly did you get the idea for this? Because I know that you were listening to Randy's message about his daughter, but what was before that?
Before that, probably oh my gosh, probably 6 or 8 years ago.
Oh wow!
I was making coffee because that's what I do. I had a coffee roasting business up in Ohio.
Of course.
Until I burned the garage down. Anyway, it's a true story.
Sounds about right.
But I would go to church and I would make coffee in the morning for this, just because that's what and I love coffee. Right. So anyway, we were talking, and I was talking with this guy because everybody that wants to have a conversation, they knew where you were at, and they'd come and talk with me. And I did a lot in men's ministry there. And we were talking. He's like, "You should do a podcast." And I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "Because I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy, hearing your opinion." And another pastor, it took us 2 years to get it started. But then we started doing a podcast with three of us. And we had a real spiritual guy named Jordy. Then we had Scott, which was the pastor of the men.
Nice.
And he was like a red type. Like he got things done. He's like you. He got things done.
Yeah.
And then there was me just like,
I'm
okay,
here.
and we got Chris.
And Chris is here.
But what I bring to the table is I don't want to say hold things together.
No, you do. Yeah.
But I bring like a really intellectual guy and a really overachiever guy, and then I balance them out by cracking a joke.
Yes. You're especially good with questions. That's something that I've noticed, especially when we have guests, is you definitely lead the charge with asking really, really good questions and kind of steering conversation.
Get to know people. And so we did that for a couple of years, and then we moved down here. And I'm like, man, this is a place where we actually, I think of it as almost like discipleship with Will.
Yeah.
It's like we're talking about spiritual things.
Mm-hmm.
He's, he needs help.
We are preaching very much to ourselves, just
we
as
are,
much
we
as
are.
others.
And so this is what people don't understand. What is discipleship? Discipleship is building into someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually is helping me understand what's going on in the world from a 22-year-old perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, last week we talked about the Prayer of Jabez.
Yeah.
And so you actually read the book.
I actually did the thing.
So last week was fake.
Right, yeah.
Fake news.
Well, it was part 1.
Yes.
Right. You gave me like a 30-day challenge just to see where it goes. And I was scouring the internet trying to find like a really trendy or aesthetic wooden plaque or something with the Prayer of Jabez on it. And I found one. It's actually, funny enough, it's a photo album. You know those old photo albums that will have like a big old Bible verse or something, or like some interesting cover on it? And so it's this giant empty photo album with a big like wooden plaque with this silver plate on it, and it has the Prayer of Jabez on it. So I'm going to just like rip it off and drill a hole in the back of it and then put it on my wall because it looks cool. And so I'm going to just put this plaque on the wall next to my door, and every morning when I have my prayer time, I'm going to pray the Prayer of Jabez, because one of the things in the book is that this guy prays it every day and encourages people to pray it every single day. And I wanted to, because I'm reading it and I'm hearing all these testimonies and I'm reading all these things, and I'm like, why not go all in, right? I mean, there seems to be nothing but benefits from this, of God's provision for people, because the whole point is you want to pray for more influence and to be kept from evil for God's kingdom, and he will grant it because it is in his nature. It is God's desire to bless you.
So it's not just about money.
Right, exactly. Some people think of it like as some sort of prosperity gospel thing, like you're praying to God for money or for good things or for this selfish gain. And it's like, not exactly. The whole point is to pray for more of God's blessing, which looks like ministering to other people. And whatever that might look like, it might be a book deal, it might be a car wash, it might be whatever, a podcast. And it is more spheres of influence. It's a prayer for more territory, so more spiritual influence to lead other people to God. And I was like, I want that, right? Why wouldn't you want that?
Hello.
So I'm gonna pray
and I get an extra $5 for myself.
Yeah, right? I get a little cheddar for my own pocket, right? Because it's a blessing from God. Whatever it is that you are, if you are a Christian, God wants to bless you, and I think that that's universal for everybody. And so I'm like,
you talked about it last week. You said, historically in the Bible, every story of blessing was, I've got 2,000 cows and a bunch of donkeys.
More goats.
Is it goats?
A lot of it's goats.
Did they not
cattle.
have? Did they not eat cattle in
They
Israel?
probably did. No, they had rams, they had oxen, they had cattle. So yeah, they did. But goats were another big thing. It's like, oh, he's got 12 goats. Well, I've got 80 goats.
Yeah, I'm showing him.
Try that. So more goats, more territory, more things that are considered blessing. For us, it's not goats anymore. For us, it's people that we disciple, or people
and it could
receive
be,
from us.
It could be, I've got this prosperous business that I'm in the Christian community. People keep an eye on you. They're like, well, why does he get that? Why is he being blessed? And you're like, well,
right.
God actually is blessing me, because I'm telling you, I can't figure out how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So you were saying that it's branched into other areas of your life, like at the gym and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the things that the author, Bruce Wilkinson, was talking about is just like everyday small occurrences. So he was on a cruise and he was having just a kind of a moment to himself, and he prayed for a, quote, Jabez moment. I was like, what does that mean? And it was just some way to influence somebody for kingdom good. And somebody came up to him and asked about, his marriage. I don't know if they had recognized him or something. I'm rereading it, so I'll know here soon. But he was just like experiencing marital troubles, and then the author was able to minister to him.
He was talking about filing for a divorce, right?
Yeah, it was
like there.
Be over. And then, as he's getting back onto the cruise ship to go back to where they were going, as he's looking over the railing of the boat, he sees a young couple hand in hand waving their hands at him, and it had worked.
Yeah.
And there was another of a woman in an airport that was having a divorce.
So it isn't just like, I want to. It's not only like I have to present the gospel to everybody. That's not what we're talking about.
No, it can just.
We're talking about being like a good person.
Yes.
A kind and loving person.
Helping people.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do that, right? Why wouldn't you? And I was like, I see these little things that you can pray for to kind of influence other people. And so I was at the gym, and I prayed the Jabez prayer. I was like, give me a little Jabez moment. Give me some sort of, I remember saying specifically, help me to increase my sphere of influence. And that literally happened. Like within 3 or 4 minutes of praying that prayer, somebody came up to me that recognized me. Hey, Will, how's it going? How you doing? Cool. That's good to see. And then immediately after that, as I was talking to this first guy, somebody else comes up to me, my friend. Hey, Will, how you doing? Oh, good. I saw your roommate. We should have a grill out at your house. Absolutely. Come over. Let's do it. Hey, Will, how's it? And I'm like, what is going on? And like 5 or 6 people came up to me, recognized me, and just talked to me. And was like, hey, how you doing? Cool. Good to see you.
Because you're so tall and have red hair.
It's because I'm a walking lighthouse. It's like I'm saying. And this isn't me being an egomaniac. I'm so recognizable. I get all the time. Oh, you're the guy from the gym. Yeah. Oh, I see you at the Collective.
Oh, I tell people, I said, there was a guy at Base Aid College, big, tall, redheaded guy. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yep. I know him.
Yep. Yeah, you give them those 3 things. Bayside College, tall, redhead. Oh, that guy. Yeah. Because I'm just, nobody looks like me, right? Tall, redhead, mullet.
Praise Jesus.
Yeah, right? Hopefully I can use that as a way to influence people, because a lot of people come up to me. They're like, Will, how are you doing? I saw you here. I recognize you here. You're cool. Let's talk.
Well, the funny thing is that you can't be in relationship with people without having a conversation with them. Mm-hmm. You can't, like you said, and you're asking God to provide opportunity for you to just be the man that you were created to be.
Yeah.
And which is a nice guy.
Yeah,
that likes talking to people. That in the meantime is also a Christian that is not afraid to share your faith. Yeah. It's not like you share it every. Oh, let me before we get this conversation started, I want to make sure that you know Jesus is your Lord and Savior.
Yeah. I'm not Bible thumping you.
Yeah,
I'm not hitting
you
you're
you're not abusing people.
No.
With the.
Yeah, the best way to minister to somebody through conversation is just to get to know them first. Because if you come at them immediately with the gospel, they're going to think that you have an agenda, that you're trying to get something out of them, which I'm not.
Right.
If I have a conversation, if I know somebody and it never ends up being that I share the gospel with them, that's not the end of the world. It's unfortunate, but maybe it wasn't my time or place to do so.
We had these people when I was in the fire department, and they're both Christians now. Ray Kopchak, hey Ray, which is he'll be okay with me saying it, which was holy cow,
crazy.
I mean, he was a wild man. Anyway, we were at church one time, and his wife came up to church, and she said, she was telling one of the pastors, she says, yeah, Chris and Joyce Meekins were like, why I came here.
Wow.
And they're like, well, what happened? He's like, well, they just were who they were.
Yeah. And
they always would just share with me and be kind with me and just be like, like treat them like decent people.
Right. Just
what's with that?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be nice. It's really weird. Yesterday, I'm sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent.
You're good.
So yesterday, I was at the car wash, and my general manager was there, and he's a young kid. He's 23 or 24 years old, and I was like, I had this feeling in my chest. I didn't know what it was, and I thought it might be love. And I'm like, I think I might really love this kid. I mean, he's doing as much as he can. He's working.
Love?
And so I said, Andrew, this is going to be a little weird, but I want to put my arm around you, just tell you how much I appreciate it. I'm like, man, could I lose my car wash for this?
Is this overstepping? Is this weird?
But he's like, okay. But there's this thing when you pray this that you're like, because I believe that like my very weakness when I had teenagers and I did not know, and we shared about this, how to love people. I just didn't know how to do it. I know how to conditionally love people.
Right.
If you do this, I'll do that. If you do this, I'll do that.
Yeah.
You didn't do this, I can't do that.
Dun, dun. Yeah.
And another book is the Greatest Thing in the World by Henry Drummond. We'll give you that one next. But
okay.
He talked about conditional love, and it changed me now that I've memorized 1 Corinthians 13. But as you love people, as you pray this prayer that God, okay, now all of a sudden there's people like, well, you might be one of the most loving guys that I know, and I'm like, well, you don't know the whole truth. But,
you don't know who it really is.
But you have this sense of overflowing love for people that God's put in your life. And that's part of expanding your territory because everybody just wants to be loved or accepted.
Everybody wants, acceptance or love. Some people are, introverted, but it doesn't mean that they don't want to be accepted. And I think one of the biggest things, one of the easiest ways to reach people or to influence people is just to go a little bit out of the ordinary to show appreciation or care for somebody. Like, I was at the gym and I've developed this kind of newer acquaintanceship with this guy, and he's really cool. I met him in the sauna. I meet so many people just in the sauna because I go there. I'm still dealing with this stupid shoulder injury, and so I'm in there. I'm stretching. I'm doing these. And
the sauna helps that?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, because it's stretching and relaxing your muscles, and so you're able to kind of, move the joints around. It brings healing. I'm just saying. You should try it. Just saying. So I met him, and we're talking, and so now I just see him in the gym. And so every once in a while when he's doing something, I'm like spotting him, which is helping him with the weight, or I'm helping him take some of the weights off and put them back on the racks, and just simple little things. And now I have this connection with this guy. And every time I see him, it's like, hey, what's going on, man? And just going a little extra step to help somebody out. It's like, hey, do you need help lifting that? Or like, hey, do you want some pointers or some tips? Just talking to people. Because what if you're new to something? What if it's your first time in the gym at a different place? You're trying something that you have no idea what you're doing. You feel like you look like an idiot, and then somebody comes up to you.
I tried rolling on that round thing, round black thing.
Oh yeah.
I thought I was going to snap my back this morning.
Yes.
I'm like, it lasted for like maybe a half a second.
Yeah, and you're like,
nope. I'm not doing this.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Imagine if somebody came up to you out of the blue and just like, hey, you want some help with that? Wouldn't that feel good? Wouldn't it be like, wow. There are good people in the world still. Faith in humanity restored.
Well,
try that.
Think of the disciples. I mean, they were known for their love for one another.
Yeah.
People were like,
absolutely.
wow, they love each other. I think that I'm going to sign up for that group. So go back to the prayer of Jabez. So do you think that it really goes to, do you believe that God can do what he says he's going to do?
Yeah. Is God going to bless you the way that he does? I mean, I just started praying this prayer, but already I've seen little things, and so I'm believing, I'm having a big faith moment. I need big faith. I'm believing that God is going to continue to do so. I'm going to see where it goes, and, we'll keep you updated because we have like a weekly digital journal essentially here.
Yes.
This podcast is just a record of my life through my early 20s, and we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it leads me. And it starts, on May 1st. I guess, or a little before.
It's May 1st.
It's May 1st.
That's crazy.
I need to get my life together.
I need to start thinking about Mother's Day.
I know. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was at the cafe, and a bunch of my friends from Bayside College showed up just out of the blue. I'm like, what are you guys doing here? They're like, oh, finals. I'm like, already? They're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, geez, I need to do something.
One of the things that so this car wash has really pushed me in a place that I just never expected, and it's challenging me in ways that I never thought. And so I've been attending this. It's called Legacy Bible Study. I said it a couple seconds ago, but it's how to be a Christian businessman.
Yeah,
and do things godly principles. And one of the things last night we talked about is you have to actually give your business to God. And I'm like, here, you can have it. Okay?
Please.
Here, please.
Yeah.
Does that mean I still have to show up? But so I prayed last night that, again, I'm praying the prayer of Jabez and saying, hey, God, I'm just praying that you would bring people. I have no clue how we're going to we need more people. We can't spend more money. We just need more customers. And so do I really believe God is who he said he's going to be? And so I'm going to pray this prayer.
Yeah.
But what happened this morning, so I have a quiet time in the morning. I walk, I quote scripture, and then I have a prayer time. It was like, okay, God, if I just give you this business, will you, what do you want? What am I supposed to do? Am I just supposed to just hang out? And it's like, well, no, I'm actually, now it's God's. I'm being entrusted with it. I had a different perspective this morning. And so I'm a steward.
Yes.
So now all of a sudden it's like, well, wait a minute. I need to go make sure that this is happening, this is happening, this happened, because God's trusting me with his business.
It's a little bit, it's a
like
different
a weird
weight on your shoulders.
Yeah.
It's a responsibility, but it's not an overwhelming. It's like, oh, I get to steward something that is God's.
Well, it's just like, okay, you go to church and someone says, oh, I really want you to do this Bible study or teach this class. Or and you're like, oh, my gosh, they trust me. And, they believe in me. Well, when you turn your things over to God and you say they're yours, I'll just be a steward. It's like, okay, you're going to trust me with this, and we're going to see what happens. Do I think that there's going to be 1,000 people waiting in line tomorrow? Well, I hope so. That would be like awesome.
It'd be too much blessing.
But I'm pretty sure that if the blessing comes before I get my mind right, that Chris's pride will probably, ego might get a little bit bigger than it already is.
Might take the car wash back out of God's hands.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the thing with at the end of the Prayer of Jabez book, it talks a little bit about how the author had to stop praying the prayer because he was like, this is too much blessing. This is overwhelming. There's too much all at once. So it is possible that you can have 1,000 people tomorrow, but it's like, you got to be ready for God's blessing.
Well, that's the thing.
You got to be prepared.
So you're like, okay, God, I'm praying for your blessing. And people all the time, it's like, God bless my business. God bless my marriage. God, oh, wait a minute. You want to bless my marriage and you want to enlarge that, that marriage thing. Oh, wait a minute. I have to be a better husband?
Yeah.
What?
What do you mean?
Oh, I have to actually go home and have a conversation with the people that I'm in relationship with?
Yep.
Oh, I have to do something? And so it's being a steward. But like you said, there's the other part that he finishes up with, protect me from evil. When you were reading that part, what were you thinking about?
Well, that was because I was thinking, oh, just keep me from bad. Give me nothing good, or give me nothing but good and keep me from bad, right? But it really was, the way the verse goes is, keep me from evil so that I may cause no pain, right? Because you can twist it and you can start to make it about the ego. You can start to, get back into, sin, whatever, like a repeat sin, whether it be an addiction or whether it be some sort of bad behavior from some traumatic experience or whatever. When you start to turn back towards the old ways that you used to be before you were saved or whatever that looks like, you're actively turning away from the blessing of God, and you're causing pain on other people or on yourself, or on your spouse or whoever's in direct contact with you. And so the whole point is to bless others and do nothing but that, because the causing pain part is walking backwards. I love what Pastor Randy said this, and I don't know if he got this from somebody else or where it came from, but I love this little analogy that human beings, the way that we're built is to walk forward. Humans are not very good at walking backwards. Our eyes are in front of us, our feet are pointed forward, and the way our knees bend is forward. We're built for forward mobility. It's not in our nature to walk backwards without at least turning something.
And you can't walk perfectly straight.
Right, yeah. It's not natural. It's not it's not intended, right? And so the keep me from evil so that I may cause no pain is so that I wouldn't step backwards on your promise, and I wouldn't revoke blessings from myself, because I don't want to cause pain to the people around me. I want to cause nothing but goodness.
I think of when I listen to that, I think of Pastor Jonathan up in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. He talked about being pure and being like he'd go out. He was the vice president of the denomination of the Christian Missionary Alliance, and so he'd go to these. He'd had to travel a lot, and there was this one hotel he'd always go to, and the people were getting really, really nice to him, and so he never went back to that restaurant. It was like a little bit. I'm not restaurant, the hotel. It was like a little bit. He didn't want to cause pain, and then he said because if I were to do something, if God forbid, he's about the most kind, loving guy that you ever want to meet. You would never even think that. Well, it's because he's already saying, keep me from evil, keep evil from me.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I'm going to go to a different place. He goes, because if that happens, and you're going to find out, the whole church is going to find out. Yeah. We had 4,000 people come to our church every week, attended our church every week. That would affect 4,000 people that attended church. And then the circles, there's a compound effect.
Yeah. It's an exponential. Like 5 people find out, they tell 2 people each, then 20 people, and then the whole church finds out.
And so there's a lot of pain going to be there. Like, oh my gosh, I really believe that he was a man of God, and so the same thing can happen to you too. You're like, God, help me not to do these things, so that when I'm, people are watching me at. Because, everybody's watching you at the gym.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there are certain trepidations that everybody has, whether it's one of 5 or whether it is all 5. There's certain things, and it talks about it in the book, that we see a lot of the biggest preachers or church influencers get caught up or hung up in some of those 5, whether it was like women, power, or money.
Right.
And then there was
girls, gold, and glory.
Yeah, there you go. I talked about those 3. And that's how a lot of people can cause the pain, right? Yeah. They get caught up in those things, and people look to them almost as like a saint figure. Not that they are. I mean, we all are saints, but in that they are an example of what it is to live a godly life. And when those people trip up, it's hard for some people because they look up to them for spiritual guidance. That's my pastor, right? And if they get caught up in something, it's heartbreaking.
So the prayer is not only God to enlarge my territory.
Right.
It's to
protect
keep evil.
Me too.
Protect me.
Yeah, because things come with more influence.
Yeah, and people think, well, I'm poor, I don't have to worry about it. No. You just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
You watch out too.
Yeah,
just as much.
The devil wants to attack and undermine everything you do.
Yeah.
Especially when we talked about the war of art, about resistance.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be resistance. And the more we focus on saying, I want to go forward, but there's got to be some things where I think consistency is the answer.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like this prayer. It's like consistent. It's like, God, I'm asking for you to bless me.
Yeah.
But I'm also asking you to protect me.
Right. I think back to, I was thinking about it this morning during my quiet time of when Jesus was talking with the disciples, and then Peter, he gets scolded by Jesus pretty extremely. He says, "Get behind me, Satan." It's like, whoa. And I just had this visual of like this little creeping Satan watching from out of the darkness, staring up at the light and hearing what Peter was saying and influencing his mind. And then Jesus had to rebuke him strongly. And I think that's what happens because Jesus is starting to gain influence here. He's at a place where people are beginning to call him the Messiah. And Peter says, "No, you can't be crucified. That would never happen."
Not me.
Yeah. And then, Jesus had to rebuke him because that was against his calling. That was against Jesus's influence, because he was saying, and then, the Son of Man must be crucified. Then 3 days later, he will rise again. Peter's like, no. And then Jesus was like, stop it. You're speaking out of a place of evil. And so I think that's a very strong rebuke. And that's exactly how we should go about it, is make sure you are familiar with God's blessing and make sure that you don't get distracted by buying things on Amazon during the podcast.
Well, here's
what are you
what
buying
I'm
right now?
I'm looking at the book. If you want to order one, the Prayer of Jabez, there's another one. I'm going to order it now. I guess Charles Spurgeon wrote one way back.
Oh wow, there's a Prayer of Jabez by Charles Spurgeon too.
Yeah, so I'm ordering it. We're
going all in on this Jabez quest.
Like $5.
There you go. Yeah, it's on Amazon.
But the book is like $20. The one that I read you, so I want that back.
That was $20.
That's what it says. That's like I think that's wrong.
Yeah, you can have that one back.
No, you can give it to your friend.
Okay.
I mean, I read it once, so why would I read it twice? My father listened to that once. I go, "Are you reading?" He goes, "I read it once. Why do I got to read it again?"
I've only reread like 1 or 2 books before, other than the Bible. But yeah,
I've got my group of favorites. Speaking of which, I want to talk about this next week.
Yeah, this is how we can end up.
Do you know how to? Do you have a DVD player at your house?
That's so 2010, dude. Nobody's using DVD players anymore.
Well, I got this DVD for you to watch.
I'll figure it out.
I'm pretty sure it's on the YouTube.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, it's called "How to Be Rich" by Andy Stanley. But it's like how to be rich good.
Yes.
And it is one of my favorite messages of all times. I say that every week, but it's on the top 10. Yeah. And we give that DVD out. Nobody's taking it anymore, maybe because
it's probably some way to get it for free online.
But it's this great message about how to be good, how to be rich good.
Okay.
And it's okay to be
wealthy
and a Christian.
Yes. Yeah.
And it talks about margin, and that's really what I want to talk about, because again, I'm in the middle of quite honestly a crisis, trying to figure out, okay, God, did I mess up? And God's like, well, even if you did, I will take care of you. I am for you, Chris.
Yeah, I love that.
I am for you.
It's a good response.
And so,
even if you did.
You'll just commit, and we'll just today I'll be obedient. I'll obey my way through it.
There you go.
It's the same thing with this whole money thing, because you need to know how to be rich. I mean, because there's people that get money and then all of a sudden they lose it. They become a baller.
Yeah, baller in the wrong way. And even if I don't become rich, which isn't the goal, it'd be nice, but it isn't the goal. This would be, I'm sure, a good lesson for anybody to watch.
It's good stuff. Watch it on the tube.
Watch it on the YouTube or wherever. Okay. We'll talk about it next week.
Okay. Cool. Anything else you need to say?
If you can, buy the book The Prayer of Jabez by Bruce Wilkinson. It's changing how I
We strongly
pray.
Endorse it.
We're not sponsored, but we endorse it. Yes, this message is endorsed by.
Yes.
So thank you so much for listening. Be sure to hit the like button, the little subscribe button, and we will see you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Peace.
Peace.